So here we are. We have this slab that we've created. It could be anything. It could be a big floor plan or something like that. And we then need to externally reference it somewhere else. So basically, traditionally what happens in an architectural sense, you draw your floor plan and then you send it off to your structural engineer, for example. And the structural engineer will reference that plan into their drawing to then create, work out, the footings or create the roof structure or other things off that. And if this floor plan ever changes, then you send another one, the architect will send another one to the structural engineer, and the engineer will copy it into the appropriate folder, which can be found, and it will automatically then update their structural drawings without them having to worry about it as much. So similarly, those sort of things happen internally in the other structural engineer's office or in an architectural office. For example, they might do this base plan and they might use it to create a whole lot of other plans. So it's a way of actually working a little bit more collaboratively, so within the office or externally. So you have lots of people on the same project at the same time. So you break it up that way, where the base plan is given to a number of people in the office. For example, someone will be working on the details at the same time as someone's working on the joinery, at the same time as the engineer's working on the structure, and they're all working off the same plan. So if this ever changes, all one has to do is update the base plan and give it to whoever, and then the engineer will say, oh gee, that wall's moved, I must move my column or my beam, or I have to have a bigger beam now. Okay, we'll sort that out. So it's just a way of getting the whole project out faster with a lot more people on the, otherwise imagine the same person just doing the whole thing. If it's a big project, it just will take so long. All right, so we have a thing called external referencing, which basically, in the word sense, object linking and embedding and all that sort of stuff is similar sort of terms. In Revit, it's called Revit link, or you can import a CAD link if it's a drawing file. So the same thing we have in Revit, the same idea. All right, so let's have a look at this here. So this is our little the project here. The difference with Revit and this is that with this is much better in the way that if I could have this open at the same time and have another drawing open at the same time, which I'm linking this into or externally referencing into, and I can have both of them open at the same time, update each one by flicking back and forth, saving it, and then when I go back to the other one, it says it's been updated, do you want to update it? Automatically happens live. With Revit, you can't. You have to close one before you can open the other, and vice versa. So it's a bit cumbersome way of working, I think, and they need to improve that. All right, so let's have a look. Here's a little drawing here. So what we want to do actually is we sort of doing it a little bit backwards, I suppose. We're going from being structural engineers and having the footings put in the slab to now going almost the reverse way. We're giving this to the architect, and the architect's going to put the walls on top of it. So it's a bit backward in the way it actually the workflow works in the industry. But we needed a base to start with and something simple. So we will reference this into another drawing, a blank drawing, and then draw the walls in. Again, I'm going to go with 3D. So what I'm going to do is open this thing here, go new, drawing, and we're going to go to template here. We're going to use the ACAD ISO 3D and OK that. All right, so what I'm going to do is externally reference this thing here. All right, so basically under the insert or XREF, you can type in XREF as well, but we have attach. Here we go. You can attach stuff here. If I click that, this thing comes, and by default it says all image files. All right, so that's a good question. Where is my file I want to bring in? Could be here. I'll just find out where this drawing is first. Just flick over, Control Tab, file, save as, just to see where I've got it. Save as drawing it. Yeah, mine is sitting in the under my documents, which is fine. Semester. All right, so let's do that. So Control Tab will bring me back into this screen. I'll just put myself into my 3D mode as well, by the way. So I'll get all my 3D tools coming up, and if things move around a bit, that's a good question. Where is Insert? Insert's moved over here now. So yes, when I go into here, Attach, it goes to image file. So even though I'm in my documents, I can't see the drawing I want. So you just got to, it's a little trick, it's a little problem, but you just got to go back. I don't know why it goes image files. You just change it to drawing, right? And then you should be able to find it, which is that one there, right? Now what happens if I just type in that word I mentioned before? By the way, you can flick between your drawings using these tabs in release 14 onwards, as well. So that's a handy thing to have. What happens if I type in XREF? XREF, 4 letters. All right, this thing comes up, all right, which is a bit of like a palette. Now, I usually use this, find it a bit easier, a bit better. In the way when I go here, for a start it defaults to drawing, right? But if you have the drop down here, you can actually choose what you want to bring in: a drawing, an image. An image can be a PNG or basically, well, PNG and JPEGs, I think probably TIFFs as well. But if we go here, we can bring DWFs in. We haven't done that yet. We're going to export this out to DWF later on. And DGN, it's a MicroStation file. PDF, you can bring in PDFs as well, and they're great because you can actually with the PDFs, unlike the images, you can actually latch on, if they've been created by another CAD file, you can actually, another CAD program, you can actually latch on to the endpoints and midpoints of lines, intersections, so you can trace over something existing quite quickly. And the new one in 14 is attach a point cloud, which is if someone comes in and laser scans this room, we can click on that and just get that up and running. So, all right. So it's all about sort of bringing other additional stuff in here to help us with this. Generally, at the beginning, there's only been the DWG file. So let's go with DWG here, and go down here, and I'll just select this file here that we have open in the other drawing. Open that. Okay, so a few very important things to look at here is one is whether it's a full path or no path or relative path. Revit only has relative and full path, I think, so there's no path. Relative path is a good way of working. Basically, full path is a problem in that if you give your file to someone else, then they need to have the exact letter drive of the letter, or letter of the drive, and folder and everything, and put this file into that folder for it to actually find it. So that is not the, although it defaults to that, it's not the way to do it. If I go to relative path, this comes up. Relative path is better in the way that it looks at where we are now, and I am in my documents at the moment, but supposedly I was in a folder called my project, under my documents, my project, and under that I might have had consultants, for example, and I had the architectural drawing in the consultants, all right, and this drawing here, which is blank at the moment, may be just a folder above consultants, all right, and saved in there. So if I ever move, if I want to ever move this drawing or give it to someone else or put it in another archive folder or whatever, it should still work, because all it would do when I go and open my drawing from my project or whatever, all it will look is to see if there's a folder underneath it called consultants, and that my architecture or my slab is in there, and it'll just go and find it. It doesn't care where it is up on the tree, or as long as it's in the same drive letter, then it'll just find it. All right, so you're not allowed to mix and match your drive letters, by the way, either. So relative is used a lot in industry because they have complicated sort of folder structures, and that sort of seems to work for when they're archiving stuff or giving stuff out. All right, so the problem is I couldn't use that because I haven't saved this yet, so it doesn't know where the new drawing will exist, so it can then work out where this particular drawing is coming from, so you can know if it's like a folder above or a folder below or two folders below or wherever it's going to be. So in our case here, we're not going to care too much about that. We're just going to keep it in the same folder. So really, it's simple for us. Footpath won't really work, but all the time. So probably either no path for us or relative path is the way to go. No path means basically if it will look basically in the same folder, and if it's there, it'll just grab it. If it's not there and you have not moved it around, it'll go and look where it was last time basically and see if we can find it there. But relative is the way to go. So I'm going to go back a step, for example, and just what I want to do now is save this drawing here, and I'll save this as, perhaps I'll call this one, I'll just call it project 2 for me. All right, 2014, and that would do. That's what it is. All right, now I can go to my XREF here and say, all right, let's bring the, what's this? Oh yeah, let's bring it in here. So let's go down, slab, semester, whatever. So open that. We're going to go to relative path now. So because I saved it, it will let me do it. The other thing is this thing here. Is it going to be an attachment or an overlay? And again, Revit has the same system. So I just set attach this drawing to, that drawing to this drawing, and it's asking me again in here, do I want to have it as an attachment type or an overlay type? It's very confusing. I mean, we're doing an attachment, but then he wants to know the type or the mode of attachment. So basically what it means if I leave it as attachment is that if someone else down the track decides to externally reference this project 2 into another project, now don't forget project 2 will then, we're going to draw the roof, we're going to draw the walls in there now, put some doors, all right? So project 2 will have that information in it. What it doesn't really have is the slab, because the slab has been externally referenced. But if I leave it as attachment, what will happen if project 2 is referenced to another drawing, it will actually drag the slab with it into the other drawing. If I leave it as an overlay, it would actually just say, well, this guy's just brought it in, so he can just reference and work out where the walls are going to go, trace over the top of it, and he doesn't want it to go with this drawing if this drawing happens to be imported into another drawing or referenced into another drawing. So that's what overlay does. Again, the default option is the wrong option. Okay, not that it's wrong, but it's generally the way the industry works. They use it as overlay. So what they're saying is, look, you don't want to be carrying baggage across to something else, because someone else might not want your slab. They might just want the walls. So don't force someone to bring your slab across as well. They can bring the slab themselves, by themselves if they really want it. All right. So that's the way that works. So that's what we want there. Angle width on touch, and usually you want to insert it at 0,0 or a known point for the project. For us, we're just going to use 0, 0, so I'm just going to tick that off there. So we're using 0, 0, and basically that's it. We're never going to change the scale, and go OK, and there it is. All right, so there's our slab. I'll leave that there, and we'll continue drawing the walls in a minute.